I'm very excited to have you guys here. My name is Berlyn. If this is your first time watching a live of my channel, we do lives every Tuesday and Friday, and we do lives about Bible study or Bible reading. So on Tuesdays we read about the New Testament, and on Fridays we read about the Old Testament. So today is Friday. Happy Sabbath, because Sabbath is on Saturday, so it's night already. So it's Sabbath. It's Saturday already. So we're gonna be reading the story of Noah. This is the second part, the second video. We do these like Bible studies, although I don't like skip parts. We do it from Genesis all the way to Revelation, right? So in this case, we're gonna be reading Genesis chapter 8 and chapter 9. So if you guys are interested in knowing more about the stories of the Bible, I recommend you guys watching the past lives in the next lives that are coming. So we already read, the first live was about the creation of the earth, which is Genesis chapter 1, and then the second live about Adam and Eve, and then Cain and Abel, and so on and so on. So right now, this is like the fifth live video. So this is the second part of the Noah's flood story. So in the first live, we read about what caused the flood. Why did God send the flood to the earth? And we read about all the animals that Noah put into the ark. And then when did the flood started? Because, well, it says that the flood started on the day 17 of the second month, when Noah was 600 years old. So in this second part, we're going to be reading how many years did the flood last? I'm sorry. How many years did the flood last, right? So did it last for, I don't know, 10 years or 40 years or 7 years or maybe just days or 6 months? We don't know. We're going to find that out in this video. And we're also going to find out where the Noah's Ark was like found, right? Or where did it end up? So it says when was the last location of the ark, and if you guys do a research, you can find that they found something that looks like the Noah's Ark, but we are gonna read exactly in what location did God leave the ark, right? So that's what we're gonna find out in this live. And so yeah, we are gonna be reading Genesis 8. So in Genesis chapter 8 and Genesis chapter 9. So let's continue. Let's start reading this. It says, so obviously after the flood, which it lasted, it says that the waters flooded the earth for 150 days, right? Then chapter 8, it says, but God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. So if you guys are also, I really recommend you guys, if you guys haven't watched the first part of this live, go watch it really fast, because in that way you're gonna understand what's going on, because this is the second part. We're gonna find out when, what time, how many years did the flood last. But in the first live, or actually in the first part of this story, we find out, we learned what caused the flood, what happened on the earth, because there's some really bad things that happened, and also where did the waters like come from, the flood waters. So I really recommend you guys the first part because it's very interesting. So let's continue. So it says that the waters receded steadily from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, or Ararat. That's how we pronounce it in Spanish. So it says that the ark, here's something very interesting. It says that the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat or Ararat. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Ararat. Ararat. So that's where the ark is located at. It's very interesting. So until now, right? So it says the waters continue to recede. This is where in these mountains, or in this mountain is where the ark is currently at. So that this is a very interesting fact, guys, if you guys didn't know. And it says the waters continue to recede until the 10th month. And on the first day on the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the waters had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove could find nowhere to perch because there was water over all the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again. But this time it did not return to him, because obviously there was already some parts of land that the dove was able to land in, and that was dry, basically, right? And it says, oh my gosh, where am I at? Okay, yeah. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you, your wife, and your sons and their wives." So basically, this video should be called, how many years or how much time did Noah last in the ark, right? Not how long was the flood, because obviously the flood was 150 days, right? That's how long it kept the water coming down. But obviously if the world was all covered in water, it had to they had to wait for the water to come down. So how much time did that take, So if you guys watched the last live, we learned that the flood started the 17th of the second month when Noah was 600 years old. So that's very important. Right here it says that in the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st birthday, so Noah was 601, right? And when the flood started, he was 600 years old. So basically, he was already 1 year older, right? So this means that the flood lasted for a year, right? But if the flood started on the 17th day of the second month when Noah was 600 years old, and it says that this was the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st birthday, it means that it was the first day of the first month, not the 17th day of the second month. So it wasn't, Noah was a year older, but it wasn't, a year didn't pass, right? So it says that on the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. And that's when God said to Noah to come out of the ark. So this happened on the 27th day of the second month. And when did the flood started? It started on the 17th day of the second month. And then on the 27th day of the second month, that's when Noah came out of the ark. So basically, Noah was in the ark for a year, for a total of a year and 10 days. That's how long was Noah in the ark. He was in there for like 40 years, 60 years. It was just a year and 10 days, which is pretty fast because obviously the waters covering the whole world, like even the top of the mountains, it was completely covered in water. To that water dry and go down in a year and 10 months, in a year and 10 days, sorry, it was very fast. It dried very fast because it's, if you think of it, the oceans are huge, right? And the flood, it was bigger than the oceans because it was covering the whole world in water. So if you think of it, in a year, the whole ocean to like dry in a year, that's like wow, right? So basically that's what happened in the flood. It dried like almost, obviously not the oceans, but like the whole world that we know that has earth, right, in it. All of that dried in a year and 10 days, which was very fast, very fast. Okay, let's continue and read what happened next. And God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number on it." So Noah came out together with his sons and his wives and his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground and all the birds. Everything that moves on land came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood." This is very true. "And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth." The fear and the dread of you will fall on all the beasts of the earth, and on all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. Why did God say this? Because the blood is the life. Basically, the blood is the soul of the animal. So if you guys are if you guys know more about the Bible, if you guys have read it, you know that in the Bible it says that if you kill someone and the blood of that person is like spread on the earth, or basically on the dirt, on the ground, the earth will like scream out justice, right? They'll be like, "Oh, there's blood in me," right? Because someone killed an innocent person. So the blood screams out for justice because the blood is our life, is our soul, basically. So that's why with animals, it's the same thing. The blood is the soul of the animal, is the life of the animal. So if you eat meat with the blood in it, it's gonna, basically it's nothing good. That's not good, because then instead of like killing an animal to eat, and God is gonna look at you, okay, you're just like killing an animal to eat, but just don't eat the blood, because when you eat the blood, that's when the animal is gonna be like, "Oh, justice," right? Because they killed me. So that's when it's like, oh no, that's not good. So it says right here, "And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal." So God is saying, if you kill an animal, I'm gonna count that as homicide, you know? Even though it's an animal, it's still homicide. So obviously he gave us the permission to eat animals, but just be careful to not eat it with the blood, because that's when I will be considering it an homicide, right? So that's what he's trying to say. So, and for your lifeblood, I will sure demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal and from each human being also. From each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For the image of God has God made mankind. So if you kill someone, the only way to like revenge or to avenge, basically to avenge that person, it's by killing the killer. You know, if a person spreads blood of another person and kills it on the earth, the only way that it's going to be paid is by spreading also the blood of the killer, right? That's why Jesus Christ came to this world and he died for us, and his blood is what cleans us from every sin that we have, because he is innocent and his blood was spread for all sinners, right? So if you are really sorry for something, he is going to forgive all your sins, right? So this is why when someone kills anyone in this world, there's they go to jail, and sometimes they don't tell them that, oh, you're gonna be in jail for 50 years. They just tell them, oh, we have to like they have to die, right? And the police kills that person. I don't know what that's called. I know the word in Spanish, but not in English. But I don't remember what it's called. But probably you guys should know what that's called. You know, when the police kills the killer, because it's like, oh no, we're not gonna give you like a whole life in prison. We're just gonna the punishment is like to kill the person. So yeah, that's fair, right? That's fair. That's why God created in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, no, in the book of Numbers. That's when God explains that the jails, the prisons are more for protection of the killers, you know, because some people kill innocent people, but they kill them by accident, because it's a whole difference if you plan to kill someone than to kill a person by accident, right? And most of the time when you kill someone by accident that you didn't mean to do it, it's less years to be in prison. But if you kill a person and you planned the killing, that means that you wanted to do it. So that's when it's like life in prison or whatever, right? So, but most of the time, when you kill someone by accident, the family members of the victim are gonna be mad, and they're gonna want to kill the killer, even though the killer didn't mean to do it, right? So that's why they need to go to prison to like protect them. But it says in the Bible, in the book of Numbers, that if the killer that didn't mean to kill the person escapes from prison, and then the family members of the victim finds him or her and kills the killer, they're gonna basically, in the Bible it says that they're not gonna have any like punishment, because it says right here that it's permitted basically under the law of God. But obviously right now in any like prison or like in the law of the police right now, I saw a case about a lady that killed the killer of her daughter, because basically this man raped and killed her 6-year-old daughter. So when she went to the with the judge and everything, she killed this man with a gun, with 6 gunshots, for 1 gunshot for every year that her daughter had, which was 6 years old. And they sent her to jail, right? They sent her to jail. But even though it was like it was her right to do that, you know, if you read the law of God, it's like that's the right of the family member. And more knowing that the killer meant to do that. It's like completely okay. So yeah, that's an interesting fact. But obviously, God tells us to forgive. That's the most important thing. When Jesus came, he told us to forgive because God is gonna he's gonna avenge us, basically. He's gonna take revenge of all the people who have done anything bad in this world. So if we basically kill the murderer of our family member, that we already like took revenge, right? But we have to like wait for that and forgive and just let God do everything, because obviously when God takes revenge, that's more pleasing, right? Because it's God doing the work. So yeah. And it says, as for you, as for like Noah and his family and humans, he said to Noah, as for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. So never again will there be a flood that will destroy the whole earth, right? That's what God is saying. He promised this, and he put a signal on the sky to like remember this promise. You know what that signal is? It says, and God said, this is the sign for the covenant I am making between me. This is the sign for the promise, basically, I am making between me and you and every living creature with you. The promise for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be, it says, and it will be the sign of the promise between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my promise between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears. Okay, it's paused. What the? Wait, there. Okay, it was like, there was like something loading, guys. I'm so sorry. I think it was a signal for some reason. I don't know why, but everything's good now. So I'm gonna go back to where I was reading. So basically, we're reading the part where God promised Noah that never again will he send flood on the earth to destroy the earth, basically. Obviously, there's been flood going on the earth, like many like different tiny floods. But he promised that he will never again send a flood that will destroy the whole earth or to destroy the earth, you know? So he promised this, and he put a signal in the sky so he can remember obviously he can remember, right? So that in that way we can remember this this whole story that happened, this history, right? Which is Noah's Ark. So he said that he will put a rainbow in the cloud, to remember the promise that he did about never again sending flood to destroy the whole earth. So it says, whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my promise between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting promise between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, this is the sign of the promise I have established between me and all life on the earth. The end for this chapter. Well, not for this chapter, but for this live. So that's where we're gonna stop at. But before stopping the live, I just wanna like talk about this, guys. So basically, a rainbow is the sign of the promise of God that he made about never again sending flood waters to destroy the whole earth, right? So, you know, the rainbow, and the rainbow, it's the promise of God. If you see a rainbow in the skies, it's the promise of God. Whenever a rainbow appears, the rainbow only appears after it's raining or when it's gonna rain, right? Whenever God sends clouds on the earth to start raining, because remember that the flood started with rain and some other stuff, right? The waters from the flood didn't only come from the rain. It came from other parts of the world. So if you guys are interested in that, I recommend you guys watching the first part of this live because it's very interesting. But basically, when rain is coming on any city on the earth, a rainbow appears. Why? Because this is a promise from God saying this rain is not gonna be the flood like what happened with Noah, right? It's not gonna be a flood to destroy the whole earth. It's the rainbow. It's the sign of the promise of God. And you know how the enemy has like changed all of this, and how we see that with like homosexuality, or with homosexuality, with the LGBTQ community and all of that. They have the rainbow as like in the flag. You know, they have like a rainbow flag, and it's crazy because they take this, which is the rainbow, which is something very important, which is the promise of God, a symbol of the promise of God, and they turn it against God, you know, and they put like, oh, we're gonna take this rainbow and make it our symbol. And it's crazy. And if you guys didn't know, I also have a Spanish channel where I do lives, and I also talk about God if you guys are bilingual, or if you know anyone who don't speak English. But in that channel, I made this live as well, like a couple months ago. And a subscriber told me something which I found very interesting. And it's that in the rainbow that we see in the sky, the rainbow of God, there's 7 colors, right? The rainbow has 7 colors, which we know that the number of God is 7. God constantly uses the number 40 and the number 7 in the Bible. And the rainbow has 7 colors, which is the number of God. And the rainbow from the LGBTQ flag has only 6 colors, which is 6, the number of man, you know? So we can see that difference. That's a huge difference. And he mentioned this in the comments, and I was like, that's very interesting. I didn't like think about that. So if you guys didn't know that, that's an interesting fact as well. And also, if you guys didn't know about the meaning of the rainbow and how the enemy has like changed this meaning and used it basically against God, right? Against everything that God has said. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to mention and talk about because it's very interesting, something very important. So yeah, we are gonna be talking next live about how the earth started to like have more and more people, and we're gonna talk about the something that the son of Noah, which is Ham, did to Noah. And because of that thing that Ham did to Noah, Noah damned Ham's son, which is Noah's grandson. And that's very important because what the son of Noah did to Noah goes against the law of God. You know, the 10 Commandments, which God told us to like respect our our father and mother, respect our parents. And basically Ham, is that how you say it? Because in Spanish it's Cam. But basically the son of Noah didn't do this. He did something very bad to his father, to Noah, and that's why he was damned. Like his whole descendants were damned because of this. So this is something that we're going to be reading in the next live. So I hope you guys will be here to watch that live and find it interesting to learn something new about the Bible. So that's it for this live, guys. I hope you have a great Sabbath. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next live. Bye.